Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
And I would love to work with you because we love to showcase designs from every walks of life.
The next step, truthfully, the honest answer to that, and a lot of people say this and most people don't believe it, but it's really what you want to do.
Bringing people together just to educate them on this particular theme. I was born and raised on the east side of El Centro.
You have to go where your passion is.
And welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and other distinguished members of the audience. You're listening to Valley Vibes, a radio show produced entirely by Spartan Sound Productions, Central Union High's very own production studio. I'm Daniel Montoya, this time a part-time host, because as most of you know, Valley Vibes is a show primarily focused on the youth and the culture of the Valley, but this week's episode will deviate just a little from the norm. Instead of focusing on the youth themselves, we've opted to shine a spotlight on a few opportunities for the youth of the Valley in this episode, in addition to a bit of sadly little-known history. It's also deviating a little bit from the norm in the fact that I'm taking a bit of a backseat as host for this week, as all of the segments were hosted by different people, partly due to ongoing finals. As for our guests, we brought in Miss Jacquelyn Tacke, head of Lauderdale Media, to talk about a fashion show being held in June called Fashionteenth, as well as to look for any aspiring fashion designers who are tuning in for this episode. We've also brought in representatives of the Black Lives Matter movement, Mr. Wesley Smith, Hilton Smith, and Markco King, to talk about a 3-on-3 basketball tournament being held to commemorate the 103rd anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre, also known as the Black Wall Street Massacre. It's a bit of history that's not widely known, so even if you're not a fan of basketball, we encourage you to stay tuned to learn about this little-known tragedy. For our first segment, I'll hand things over to Dr. Tacke, head of Spartan Sound Productions, for his interview with Miss Jacquelyn Tacke, who, as I've stated, is holding a fashion show in San Diego in honor of Juneteenth. She's looking for designers from here in the Valley, Yuma, and the Mexicali area. So if you or someone you know fits the bill, stay tuned.
Well, hello, I'm Dr. Tom Tacke. I'm the executive producer of Valley Vibes. And Valley Vibes, as you know, is usually focused on the youth of the Imperial Valley and culture, happenings, all those great things that we love to talk about and host. Today we have a special guest. We have the executive director of Lauderdale Media sitting here. Ms. Jacquelyn Tacke, yes, she is my wife, and she's got a very special event coming up in the middle of June in San Diego. But she's looking for people that would like to participate, particularly young people from the Valley that might be designers. So, anyway, Jack, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening?
Hello, El Centro. My name is Jacquelyn Tacke. I have the privilege of being married to Dr. Tacke. We've been married for 10 years. And I'm having an event in San Diego. It's called Fashionteenth. Fashionteenth, why? Because I'm combining fashion with the holiday in June, which is Juneteenth. I have the privilege of working with a designer from Project Runway. Her name is Kaitel Bumalu. We've been working together since 2008. And I'm bringing her to San Diego for the very first time. And so I'm looking for designers. And if that is you, please go to fashionteenth.com and please email me all of your beautiful designs. And I would love to work with you because we love to showcase designs from every walks of life. So if that is you and you'd love to participate, then email me at fashionteenth@gmail.com. Fashionteenth is an event that is coming first to San Diego because we've never had an event like that. And Kaitel has never shown her beautiful designs in the city of San Diego before, so we're very excited to bring something like that to San Diego.
That's really cool. So, I don't know if we have any youthful designers out here. I would imagine we do. I mean, we cover all of the Imperial Valley and in Mexicali, and so let's hope some of the folks, get a hold of you. So that's Fashionteenth@gmail.com. But as you told the folks, you moved down here 10 years ago. And why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into fashion design, maybe even talk a little bit about your company, Lauderdale Media.
Lauderdale Media has been a journey. My background is I'm a proud Navy veteran, first of all, and I've always loved fashion. I used to watch shows on TV that had any and everything to do with fashion. My family used to always come to me and ask, what goes with this, that, and the other, and I never understood why that was. And I used to always play with paper dolls, and I know I'm dating myself because most people don't even know what paper dolls are. So I really never loved playing with just regular dolls. I never really cared for Barbie dolls or things of that nature. And I always wanted to go to school for fashion design or fashion merchandising. Not knowing how to draw, I never really thought that I could do that. And so, but then there's this little show on TV that was called Project Runway. And so I started looking at that. And my client, Kytel Mumalu, is from Arkansas. And with me being from Memphis, we decided, to collaborate. And we've been working together since 2008. And so she and I together have done so many fabulous things. Her designs have been on the cover of the Smithsonian. Her designs have been in the Smithsonian magazine. She's been all over, a ton of museums. And we've been in Essence, and, we've been in the BBC, and we've been just a plethora of things. She's been in over 200 Dillards. We've been in a menagerie of things. So just to name a few. She's even been her designs have been on The Young and the Restless several times. She's just done a menagerie of things. And so I've just always loved fashion. Most recently, she dressed someone for the Oscars, the SAG Awards, and the Grammys. So we've done just a whole lot of things. And so I've been on a reality TV show on the Sundance Channel. She's been on a reality TV show. She's been on a plethora of things. So just growing up in Memphis in the South, church was where you saw a lot of your fashions because your mom could look, just like, she would have on her, her just regular clothes through the week. But on Sundays when she went to church, that was where you saw all of your fashions. And, the Ebony Fashion Fair was a thing back in the day. And you just saw these beautiful women on the runway. And so that's kind of what I remembered, just growing up. So I've always been, and my mom is where I got my fashion inspiration from, and the hats, just like at the Kentucky Derby. I remember all the hats on Mother's Day and Easter. So she's definitely where I got my fashion sense from. I would just raid my mom's closet because she's always telling me that fashion repeats itself, and it definitely does. So when you see the fashion now, you see the wedges and the hip huggers is where the kids call lowrider jeans now, the wide leg jeans. We call them bell bottoms. All they do is just repeat themselves, and they think they're inventing stuff now. But a lot of the shoes that they have out now are shoes that I wore in junior high or high school. So it's just repeated fashions over the years. So
that's great. So your event is going to be taking place on what date?
June 15th in San Diego at Liberty Station. And I chose Liberty Station specifically because I'm a Navy veteran, as I said, and I've always wanted to have a fashion show. Liberty Station used to be Naval Training Center when I was in the Navy. It used to actually be a base. And now it's this beautiful location in San Diego on a marina. It used to be NTC and, MCRD, where the Navy trained and the Marines trained. I believe the Marines still train there. But I have all these beautiful, amazing stories about when I was in the military there. But now it's just this beautiful area in San Diego next to the marina.
Great. That's fantastic. It is really a nice place, and it's going to be a real special event.
We're hoping to make it an annual event as well.
That would be fantastic, because we did go to New York Fashion Week with Cateau this last fall, and her show was just, it was incredible.
That was the first time Tom had ever gone, and his daughter was there too, and it was very special.
Yeah, it was a really, really great show, and I can assure all the listeners that, in addition to Jackie looking for participants as designers to show their designs and such there, buy a ticket and come to the show, because it will be totally amazing.
And after, there was an executive producer from the Sherry Shepherd show at Cateau's show, and as a result of him coming to the show, we were invited to the Sherry Shepherd show just less than 2 weeks later. We were on a national TV show. So you never know what's going to happen when you come to a Cateau show. As a matter of fact, I can say that too, because after you come to a Cateau show and you participate as a model and or a designer, God only knows what's going to happen to you and or your career, because her models have taken off from participating in shows. They've, become participant on other reality TV shows. They've, had contracts to become models in other retail, shows or outlets, or their lines have been picked up. And these are not made up stories or just to get you to participate in the show. These are facts that I know that I'm telling you from out of my mouth.
Exactly.
Anything can happen from she's a special young lady. She's a wonderful designer. So you just never know what could happen as, from participating in one of her shows.
That's fantastic. So June 15th, Liberty Station, and you can get tickets off of Fashionteenth at gmail.com.
And it's spelled just like, fashion, and then just put the teenth behind it. FashionTeenth.com.
Fashionteenth.com, not at Gmail. That'll send an email, of course. So Fashionteenth.com. Jackie, tell us a little bit about you bringing Lauderdale media from San Diego down to the Valley, and maybe some of the challenges that you've faced as a result of that, maybe some of the opportunities. In particular, how does something like that interface with the youth of Imperial Valley?
Well, first of all, Lauderdale media came about because I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, not that far from the Civil Rights Museum and the Lorraine Motel. You never really think about the historical and facts of every place that you grew up until you've become an adult and you move away and realize the significance of where you lived. And so I had no idea of that until I was adult and moved and took history and this, that, and, just became an adult and realized the historical significance of Martin Luther King, and just living just a mile or two away from where he was actually assassinated. That just really just threw me. But, and people say, oh, you were from Florida. You lived in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, no, Lauderdale is the street that I grew up on in Memphis. And so, and it's just my way of thanking God from how far I came. And so, that's the history behind Lauderdale. But I'm retired from Time Warner Cable, actually. I worked at Time Warner Cable in San Diego, in Philadelphia, in Washington, D.C. And so, but I've always had a kinship with marketing, public relations, and just customer service, and being with and around just people and public relations, and just, and pontificating and talking. My mom used to always say that I had a big mouth, so I needed to just, communicate and be with people and be around people. And so you have to go where your passion is. And what is that famous saying? You'll never be broke if you do what you love.
That's true.
And as far as working with people in the Valley, I love bringing other people's, passions and freedom into fruition. So if you have a kinship for fashion and, working with people, and I know that there has to be someone here in the Valley that has some beautiful fashions and that they can share. And especially if you're in high school or if you're in Mexicali, because I actually love, and Cateau does too, we love to showcase people's fashions. And if you're starting out, we would love to show you and assist you on how you can help your dream come into fruition and show you the path. I'm actually doing a seminar on the business side of fashion, because there are all kinds of pits and parallels and peaks and valleys of how you can get into the business. So if you don't know what you don't know, that what you don't know, how can you know to take it to the next level?
That's fabulous. That's really, really great.
Because even though AI is out here now, there's still some fundamentals that you have to know about how to get into, the business of fashion.
Of course. And AI is probably not going to know how to really well represent the Imperial Valley and what is the Imperial Valley as our designers, that live here and experience here are able to design from. So
especially like trademarking your logo. There's still fundamentals in the business that you still need to know. trademarking and copywriting. And, just because you've been doing it for 500 years, somebody will still come and trademark and copyright your logo and business and take it and, move just like it's their own. And, and pretend like you didn't even own it and just take it and steal everything that you've worked completely hard for and act like you never even did anything.
That's true, too. Well, Jackie, we really appreciate that you gave us your time to talk about this great event that's coming up. So this is Fashionteenth at Liberty Station on Juneteenth. Well, celebrating Juneteenth. It'll be on June 15th. Liberty Station, that's Fashionteenth. So,
and who knows? Maybe one of these years I'll bring it to San Diego. To El Centro. So, because I'm a proud graduate of Imperial Valley College. So maybe I'll bring it down here one of these years.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Turning over to the larger segment of the two, I'd like y'all to give your attention to Central basketball players Abraham Nava and Robert Meneses-Burrell and a panel of representatives from the Black Lives Matter movement to talk about the Tulsa Massacre of 1921 and a 3-on-3 basketball tournament being held in its memory on May 31st, 2024.
Hello, this is Dr. Tom Tacke. I'm back, and we've got a very special segment today to talk about an upcoming basketball tournament that'll be happening on June 1st, part of the Imperial Valley Black Lives Matter. And today we've got Hilton Smith and Wesley Smith, Markco King. We've got a couple new Valley Vibes hosts here. We've got Abraham Nava and Robert Meneses-Burrell. That are going to kind of lead this discussion, but we're just really happy to have these guys here. As you know, Valley Vibes is focused on the youth of the Imperial Valley, and these gentlemen certainly are here to provide opportunities for youth. And so, with that said, I'm going to kind of turn this over to Hilton Smith.
Well, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and also to give a little brief history of the Black Wall Street that we're going to be commemorating the 103rd anniversary on June the 1st. It's important that we also educate our youth and knowing about the history that occurred back in 1921. So about Black Wall Street. Now, Black Wall Street was coined by Booker T. Washington. Black Wall Street was a predominantly black community, a business district that was located in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so it was a very productive community financially. You had doctor's offices, dentist offices, you had hotels, you had a variety of grocery stores. So it was a thriving community, okay, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so that particular area was called the Greenwood District. And so Booker T. Washington coined that phrase, Black Wall Street, because it was so productive economically. And the fact that black people in those days were productive, it drew attention to the white community, who were more or less offended, jealous, yeah, you could say jealous, okay, of the productivity of the black community. And the dollars in the Greenwood District basically stayed in the Greenwood District, okay. So going back to the key main persons involved in the Black Wall Street Massacre was an individual named Dick Rowland. Dick Rowland was a 19-year-old shoeshine boy, okay, and he had a job working in a predominantly white district, okay, of Tulsa. And he would often go upstairs to use the bathrooms, okay, designated for colored people back in those days. And so this particular day on May the 30th, which is Memorial Day, Dick Rowland decided to go up to use the restroom, the colored restroom. And the person who was operating the elevator was a Sarah Page. She was that 17-year-old white woman. She was the elevator operator. So as they was going up and he used the restroom to coming down, we're not sure what happened. Either he brushed up against her or he touched her. Anyway, she claimed that he sexually assaulted her, okay? And so the Dick Rowland ran out of the elevator. He was afraid, okay? Because those days, you cannot imagine what's gonna happen if you assault a white woman, okay? So Sarah Page goes to the attendant in the hotel where they were in, and Dick Rowland runs out the front door. He was afraid. The police was called, well, the sheriff then was called, took a report, and the next day they arrested Dick Rowland. Okay, and they took him to jail for sexual assault. And so the black community got wind of what was going on with Dick Rowland. And so back in those days, if you, and they call it eye rape too, okay, back in those days, that if you even are accused of assaulting a white woman, okay, you can be lynched. So they were afraid that there may be a lynch party going on, the black community. So the World War II veterans, okay, who came back from World War I, the World War I veterans, okay, who came back, they decided to go and talk to the sheriff to make sure that Dick Rowland would not be lynched, because they was afraid that they were going to be lynched. So they go over there to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff said, no, he's in good hands. You know, they're not going to lynch him. Okay, we're going to keep him here. He's safe here. So the World War I veterans, they leave and go back to their community. Now, at this time, the racial animus began to heat up. The very next day, which was May 31st, the local newspaper got hold of it. Okay, and they kind of like put gasoline on the flames, okay, saying that it was quoted as saying that nabbed black man for racial assault of white woman, something to that effect. That got out to the general public, the white community, and they were angry. And then a mob started to form outside the sheriff's office. And yes, they were demanding to lynch Mr. Rowland for the assault. So the mob got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the racial animus began to get more and more heated. So they walked over and the trucks, and they got the guns, and they marched over to the Greenwood district, which was the Black Wall Street, the black community. And they confronted the black residents there. And then at some point, and we're not sure, a shot went off. And then another shot went off. And then a third shot went off. And then all hell broke loose. And so you had people being shot, you had houses being burned, you even had aircrafts going up in the city, dropping bombs in the city. Now, this is a 40 square block area, okay, of a district in Tulsa. And so on the 31st of May, the whole area was destroyed. And you had over 300 bodies murdered as a result of this tragic incident. So on June the 1st, it was demolished. Nothing was there. The Black Wall Street was destroyed. And there are photographs, okay, taken of the incident. So in essence, that is the whole scenario of what occurred back in 1921. That's why I think it's important that we educate our youth to let them know what transpired, what is the history that occurred back in 1921. Not only was there an incident of Black Wall Street, but there were other incidents of blacks being burned, communities destroyed as a result of racial animus. And what comes to mind is the Rosebud incident that occurred in 1923. The same thing that occurred. The same MO of a black man accused of sexually harassing a white woman. And in that incident that happened in Florida, there was about 50 people who got murdered as a result of that. So I think it's important that we educate our youth, okay, on the significance of Black Wall Street and its the importance to educate our youth.
I had the opportunity to visit that Black Wall Street about 4 years ago, and a couple of the buildings are still there, but by and large, it's gone. And by and large, it's the football stadium of Oklahoma State University.
Right.
It's probably it's what's there now. So,
well, what's interesting, Dr. Tacke, is that both Roland and Sarah Page, they basically just vanished.
Yeah,
they just disappeared. You haven't heard from them anymore.
No.
And that's the whole thing about it, is that this
unreal.
transpired over those two individuals, and they just disappeared from history.
And just disappeared from history, and up until maybe the last few years, most people haven't even heard of Black Wall Street.
Very true.
And so it's events like yours that we can commemorate that and maybe educate as well. So. I'm going to turn this over to Abraham and Robert, actually to you guys, to talk a little bit about the upcoming 3-on-3 basketball tournament that you have on June 1st. So tell us more about that.
So on June 1st, we are going to celebrate and recognize Black Wall Street, the existence and its demise. But we're going to do that in a community event, a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, where all of us will, as a community, will just get together, and we'll of course we'll have a little bit of history that won't, but the majority of it is going to be basketball. We're going to get out there and we're going to do some 3-on-3. We got 2 leagues that are planned. One will be a youth group from, I believe we set the ages from 12 to 17. And then the adult league will be 18 on up. But I'll be watching that strictly because, some of y'all look like y'all probably should be playing on the adult league. I'm not going to have you out there dunking on 12-year-olds. So we're going to be watching. We're going to pay attention to that because we want to have a good community type thing. We don't want nobody's child going home crying and say the big kids was bullying me on the basketball court and they scored 700 points in 3 minutes. So we're going to be very vigilant about that. But it is a community thing. We're also going to do, for about the first 100 students, 100 children that come in, that's going to be under the age, I believe we said 14 years of age. We were going to do hot dogs for them. We're just going to give free hot dogs for them. There'll be vendors out there that, so everybody bring your wallet. You can, buy some other stuff. Other restaurants will be out there. There will be merchandise that will be out there as well from different vendors. And the tournament, for the most part, the whole thing is really free with the exception of the registered teams that'll pay $25 for their team to come in. And, we'll do by bracket and somebody will win. They'll get a trophy, things like that. And then we're going to hopefully have some clean entertainment. So, you know, if you can sing, if you can rap, if you can dance, something like that, and you've got clean music. Let me stress the clean music, because this will be a youth environment. We don't want, no Tupac, everything. You gotta come out there with your clean rap, clean songs, everything, and so everyone can have a good time. And we just want to get the community out. I was bragging with our committee and telling them I'm hoping to have at least 28 teams, which the teams alone, that boils down to about 70 something people. And I'm hoping to see at least 200-300 people come out there and just have a good time. They laughed at me. It was like, I don't know if you're going to get 200 people to come out and watch a basketball game. But hey, it's our community. If we want to support our community, this is the things we have to do. I hear all the time. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so being down here in the Valley, I always hear, there's nothing to do down here. Well, sometimes you got to build it up. So if you want to make something happen, this is what we're going to do. And we want this to become an annual thing. We want this to be something that's known for Imperial Valley, to where we get together. Black Lives Matter, and the different organizations. My church, Sweet Home Missionary Baptist Church, is as I pastor it, we're tied into this thing, and we're getting other people that's going to be just looped into this. We're getting a little bit of communication with Imperial Valley Community College, so we want to get as many people out there to just come out and have a great time on a basketball court in the community, and we're going to give a little bit of history, show what some things that we can learn from each other, how we can build up our own community. There's no reason that we can't turn El Centro and Imperial Valley into the next Wall Street if we all put our heads together, get some of you young men with all of your many skills and talents. When we were even with the community college, and we talked with the community college and San Diego State Imperial Valley, we talk about having some of our talents stay here, because the big thing is, like, we were talking about, graduation, what's next, so we want to be able to give you some ideas of what can be next right at home. Even if you plan on leaving, maybe we can get you to come back and you become a teacher here in Imperial Valley, or maybe you become a business owner, or maybe you become the referee that's going to keep everything on track at the Black Lives at the 303 tournament that's going on, whatever it may be. We want to do some of everything to get everybody involved.
And to my knowledge, this is the first time, to my knowledge, that Imperial Valley has ever commemorated the Black Wall Street anniversary. So it should be the first. And like I said, it should be the annual event. And for the winners, there will be trophies and there will be medals given to the first place winners. So we're looking forward to having the kids come out and just have a good time.
That sounds good. I think that'll be good to get the community together. I think there will be a lot of people turning out, for sure, like 150 plus. There's a lot of people that just start a summer, they're trying to go do something. Let's go play basketball. I know there was a 3-on-3 tournament at Southwest. There was like 200 people there. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be good.
I think this is a great way to bring awareness to this event, because a lot of really young people are going to be showing up, and it'll bring a lot of awareness to this Black Wall incident, which I didn't even know about. And I'm sure a lot of younger generation doesn't know about this. So I believe this whole basketball event is a great way to bring awareness.
Fantastic.
Black Wall Street is one of those things where a lot of people don't know about it, and it was called Black Wall. And when Booker T put this together and called it Black Wall Street, it's because it rivaled Wall Street. They had so much money going through this one little community that it literally rivaled New York. So a lot of people back during those times were very aware that this small little colored people community was sending the equivalent now would be billions of dollars through that one little community, and it sparked a lot of questions back during those times, as people of color were not considered to be smart. No one thought at any time that if you were black, Mexican, Latino, anything, they did not think that your mind was capable of doing large items and dealing with war, dealing with business, and they all knew we could work in the fields. They were like, oh yeah, they could all work in the fields, but no one thought that we could manage businesses. So Black Wall Street was an anomaly that literally frightened a lot of people when it came down to it. They just didn't know. They were surprised by it. And then there was a lot of jealousy too, because that area, like I said, you're talking, Tulsa, Oklahoma, wasn't a real big community. Definitely not a New York or Philadelphia or Washington, D.C. type of area, but an area where there were just, no one thought that this farm area should have this type of money flowing through it. And so it just sparked all kinds of questions and a lot of problems for people. So they would look, people were looking for any reason to go in. And keep in mind that, like Mr. Hilton said, this started off with basically an essay, supposedly a sexual assault or whatever, and they destroyed an entire community, over something that was supposed to be something that would be handled by the courts, but it was just an excuse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question, because you said you're originally from Philadelphia.
Yes.
What brought you all the way down to El Centro, and what's the bigger goal? Because maybe you want to start small from El Centro, go to San Diego, go to LA. You know what I mean? Just bring it bigger all throughout California. So what brought you all the way down here?
So, and that's a funny story. I'm glad you asked, because I was in the Navy Reserve. All right, I was a civilian police officer, and I was a Navy reservist. My team back then, we were a reactionary team, and basically as the chief in that team, my job was just go around literally wherever the Navy sent me to fix different programs, training programs for law enforcement. And after I was coming off of one assignment, I literally got into my house. I was living in Mississippi at the time, and I got a phone call from a regional commander from over here saying, "Hey, Chief, can you come out to El Centro? We got a program out there that we need, the Navy base here." And they said, we need some help out there. And my first thought was like, El Centro, I really don't want to go to Mexico. I'd rather stay in the States. And they told me, it was like, no, it's in California. And this is before now. This was literally, about 11, 12 years ago. And went in the computer and everything, and I pulled it up, and I'm like, bro, I'm looking at this right now. El Centro might as well be in Mexico, bro. I'm looking at the line. It's like right there. And they're like, no. But they need it. It's CONUS, CONUS in the United States. And it's like, yeah, we need you over there to go fix the program. So I was only supposed to be here for 3 months. Mm-hmm. I came over here, and I actually, believe it or not, I liked what I saw. And a lot of people go, you came from Philly, you were over on the East. I was, going back and forth to Atlanta and back and forth to different places in Florida. And I'm like, you really liked it over here? I was like, yeah, man. And then, I'm literally 4.5 hours from Vegas, and I always wanted to go to Vegas, and then they set you up. It's literally a trap, because you fly into San Diego and you see the palm trees and you're looking at the water and you're like, wow, this is nice, man. And then they drive you across the mountain, and then you see the landscape change. It's like, hey man, that's a lot of rocks. Where the water goes? And it's hot, man. It's hot. I got here I got here April 7th of 2013. Mm-hmm. And that night, it was like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it gets hot.
And I was like, I should have stayed in Afghanistan. What is going on right now? But I really do love the area, man. And I got here, did what I needed to do. They extended me, and then the base commander offered me a job and was like, hey, if we keep you here, we'll give you this job. And I literally called back over to the East Coast and quit my job as a cop and everything, and came over and just stayed over here. And truthfully, I love it. I started pastoring a church here, and been doing that pretty much the entire time that I've been here as well. Did different jobs. I used to run Ricochet. I don't know if you guys ever been to Ricochet. Everything. I was the operations manager for Ricochet, and I used to run all the kids out at night, trying to get them out of here so we could close. And it's been El Centro and Imperial Valley for me has been a great time, man. And I tell this to people all the time. You're asking about, what the future holds, what's the next step. The next step, truthfully, the honest answer to that, and a lot of people say this and most people don't believe it, but it's really what you want to do. Robert, right?
Yes.
We were talking about, you were saying you had so many things that you wanted to do, you wasn't sure. I would say pick one.
Yeah.
Just pick one. It doesn't have to be the best one or the worst one or whatever. Just pick one and go for that one. And then when you're done with it, pick the next one, and go do it. My resume is a train wreck. I promise you. I've been a cop. I've been in the military. I've worked at Ricochet. I've worked in hazardous material. I've worked at a funeral home during COVID. I mean, I've done some. I worked for SDSU as a facilities director. Pick what you want to do. Do that one until you're tired of it, and then go do something else. It's really what you want to do. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. You guys are all family, correct? Or siblings? I don't know.
No. This is my son Wesley.
Okay.
And I was born and raised here.
Mm.
We both.
Oh,
were.
okay.
Yeah, we're from the Valley. I'm a native.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I was at Central High School. I graduated in 1971, so I'm an alumni for Central.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I played basketball too.
Yeah. Looks like it. Did you play basketball as well?
Yeah.
How was it back in the day? Was it still kind of, I guess you could say, what's the word? Not like segregated, but like there's still discrimination towards you guys? You know, I know it's not that far back, but I would understand it's 1971. People are still ignorant of black people and what they can do and letting them try.
Yeah. I was born and raised on the east side of El Centro, okay? And so there was no busing back then. So we had to walk back and forth to Central High School, okay? So you know how far the east side is.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we did it every day, okay, during the school day, all right? And I was the only black on my basketball team, okay? Racial discrimination, it existed, but it wasn't that prevalent, but we know it was there, but, it wasn't that prevalent, but it was there, okay, undeniably, it was there.
I could say for me as growing up, it was there for, kids in school calling you, mayate or, nigger or whatever, stuff like that. It was, even when you play basketball, you were like it's like you and another person, you're the only black people on the team, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it really wasn't a big circle of black people when I was going to school either, so. But yeah, I would say the racism was still, it was there.
I would say it's even a little bit prevalent even now in the Valley. Truthfully, my joy comes from actually your generation. I see a little bit more cooperation in your generation and more crossing of barriers. In fact, not even crossing of barriers. I would say there's a lot of throwing away barriers. I see that more in your generation now, definitely than a lot more than mine, and probably more than Mr. Hilton's back in the day. But your generation tends to literally look at any barrier that gets put at them, and then y'all just go, "No, we don't like that." When you ball it up and you throw it away, and keep on going.
Yeah. See, now that's why it's very important. That's why that we need to educate our youth. Okay, once you educate people, okay, they become closer together. If you don't educate them, there's going to be always some separatism. So if you educate bicultural communities and let them know the history of each ethnic, community, then you begin to understand, okay, their plight and understand them as a person. But until you do that, okay, you're going to always have this racial animus towards one another. So education is the key to bringing people together. And that's part of this program, this tournament we're going to have is multicultural, bringing people together just to educate them on this particular theme.
And this has been really, really, really fascinating. And unfortunately, we're going to kind of have to wrap up. I'm not even sure how we're going to, package all of this, but, you're right. Education is key to all of this. And that's kind of what we try to do with Valley VibeZ, is to, educate a little bit. I'm hoping to have all y'all back on an episode again sometime. You know, I think that could be really a lot of fun. But anything else you want to add? It's June 1st, 3-on-3 basketball. How do they sign up?
So we on the flyer, there's a QR code that's on the flyer that's going around through Facebook, and there may be even some posted around in different places. And Dr. T will get you one and make sure we get it onto you, send it to you by Facebook if you have anything like that. And then they can go on the QR code, put the team name in, pay $25 to the QR code, and that's going to be the fastest way to register right then and there. So generally that information will get passed on to me. I'll start building the brackets. Hopefully they can put in the age groups. If they can put in their age group, that'd be great. That way I'm going to make sure I'm not putting them up, some adults up against 12-year-olds. And then, but on June 1st, we'll start registering without a physical registration at 5 o'clock right there at the park at the community center. And me and a few other people will be racing against time to get everything put into the proper brackets. So at 6 o'clock we can go in and start the games rolling. And like I said, be music. We even Wesley's going to be DJing. He's going to be on the 1s and 2s. I don't know if y'all say that no more. That's back in our day. They had the 1s and 2s dropping little beats for us and everything. I may even get out there and do a rap. I'm kidding. I won't rap. But we're looking for a great time.
All right. Thank you all for being part of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this.
I appreciate it.
I know this episode deviated a little bit from what we usually do on the show, but we hoped you enjoyed it, or at least learned something, nonetheless. To anyone wanting to submit their designs for Fashionteenth, or if you'd just like to buy tickets, perfectly reasonable, please visit Fashionteenth.com for more information. That is Fashionteenth.com for more information or to buy tickets. It's going to be a great show. And for those of you who are interested in the basketball tournament, we encourage you to look for the flyers on social media such as Facebook and Instagram, or to come on down to the El Centro Community Center at 375 South 1st Street on May 31st, 2024 to buy some tickets. That is the El Centro Community Center, located in beautiful sunny El Centro, on 375 South 1st Street on May 31st, 2024 to buy some tickets. Registration begins at 5 p.m. on that day. With all that said, I'd like to thank our guests and our hosts for their time this week. This is Daniel Montoya, signing off till Sunday 9 a.m. next week with a brand new episode of Valley Vibes.
This program was produced and brought to you by Spartan Sound Productions. Special thanks to our guests, Mrs. Jacquelyn Tacke, Mr. Hilton Smith, Mr. Wesley Smith, and Markco King. Spartan Sound Productions guest hosts, Abraham Nava and Robert Meneses Bureau. We also like to recognize our production team, Daniel Montoya and Soren Dorantes, Dr. Thomas Tacke, creator and director of Spartan Sound Productions, the administration of Central Union High School and the Central Union High School District, and Mr. Javier from VibeZ and Power 98 for hosting us, and to you, the listeners.